Officer walks up to your window. Good evening. License, registration, and insurance. You hand them over. The officer pauses. Then comes the sentence that changes everything. I smell marijuana coming from the vehicle. At that exact moment, the traffic stop reaches a decision point. Not because the officer proved anything, not because drugs were found, but because most drivers immediately start talking. And what they say in the next 5 seconds often determines whether the stop stays simple or turns into a vehicle search, a roadside investigation, or even an arrest. Today, we're covering the 5 worst things you can say when an officer claims to smell weed, and the one short sentence that keeps you from making the situation worse. Every video here could save you from a serious mistake one day. Subscribe now so you don't miss what could protect you. Then share this video and drop your opinion below. I want to hear what you think. Because the biggest mistake isn't what people think. It's talking when the officer is looking for confirmation. Let's start with what is actually happening. When an officer says, "I smell marijuana," most drivers treat it like a casual observation. It isn't. It's usually an investigative statement. The officer isn't necessarily asking about marijuana. The officer is watching your reaction. Think about what most people do. Officer, I smell marijuana. Driver, no you don't. Or, driver, it was my friend. Or, driver, I only smoked earlier. Or, driver, it's legal. Or, driver, there's nothing in the car. Notice what happened. The officer didn't ask a question, but the driver volunteered information anyway. That information becomes part of the investigation, and that's where people lose control of the encounter. From an investigative standpoint, officers are constantly looking for information that helps them understand what's happening. When an officer mentions the smell of marijuana, several things may be occurring. They may genuinely believe they smell it. They may be trying to identify the source. They may be evaluating impairment. They may be trying to determine whether further investigation is needed. Most importantly, they're observing your response, because people often reveal far more than they realize. Watch this. Officer, I smell marijuana. Driver, okay, but it's not mine. Officer, so there is marijuana in the vehicle. Driver, well, the damage is already done. The officer didn't discover anything. The driver supplied the information. That's the trap. Here's the exact moment the encounter changes. The officer says, I smell weed, and the driver feels compelled to explain. That urge to explain is a decision point. Let's look at the wrong responses. Wrong response number 1. I just smoked a little earlier. Officer reaction. When did you smoke? How much? Are you impaired right now? You've just turned a traffic stop into an impairment investigation. Wrong response number 2. It's my friend's. Officer reaction. Where is it? Who's your friend? How much is in the vehicle? You just confirmed the presence of marijuana. Wrong response number 3. There isn't much. Officer reaction. So there is some. You supplied an admission. Wrong response number 4. I forgot it was in here. Officer reaction. Where exactly is it? You just helped locate evidence. Wrong response number 5. You can't search my car. This surprises people. Why is this a mistake? Because it shifts the encounter into an argument. Arguments rarely improve roadside interactions. Instead of staying calm and controlled, the driver becomes emotional. Now, let's compare that with the response that keeps you from stepping into the trap. Officer, I smell marijuana. Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. That's it. No explanation, no admission, no denial, no argument. Just one sentence. And that's the decision point. Memorize this. I don't wish to answer questions. Say it again. I don't wish to answer questions. One more time. I don't wish to answer questions. That's the phrase. Not, I know my rights. Not, you can't do that. Not, I didn't do anything. Not, that's illegal. Just, I don't wish to answer questions. It's short, it's calm, and it prevents you from becoming the source of evidence. Now let's talk about what usually happens after you say it, because officers often continue the conversation. Officer, so there's no marijuana in the vehicle. Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. Officer, when was the last time you smoked? Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. Officer, why won't you answer? Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. Notice the pattern. You aren't arguing, you aren't debating, you're simply declining to participate in questioning. Now, some officers may apply pressure. Officer, if you've got nothing to hide, why not answer? Many people crack right here. They feel awkward, they want to appear cooperative, so they start talking. And once they start talking, they often provide exactly the information the officer was seeking. Instead, stay consistent. Officer, if you've got nothing to hide, why not answer? Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. Same response, same tone, same calm delivery. Here's the legal principle in simple terms. The Fifth Amendment generally protects people from being compelled to incriminate themselves. That doesn't mean every investigation stops, and it doesn't guarantee an officer won't continue investigating. But it does mean you don't have to help build a case against yourself through voluntary statements. That's the key word, voluntary. Most admissions during traffic stops are not forced, they're volunteered. People talk themselves into trouble, not because they're guilty, but because they think explaining will make everything better. Often, it does the opposite. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument. The goal is not to outsmart the officer. The goal is simply to avoid becoming the source of evidence. Let's review the entire encounter. Officer, I smell marijuana. Bad response. I only smoked earlier. Now the officer has a timeline. Bad response. It's my friends. Now the officer has a lead. Bad response. There isn't much. Now the officer has an admission. Bad response. I forgot it was there. Now the officer has a location. Bad response. You can't search my car. Now the encounter becomes confrontational. Instead, officer, I smell marijuana. Driver, I don't wish to answer questions. That's the response. Simple, calm, memorable. Most people lose control of the encounter because they think they need to explain. They don't realize the decision point already arrived. The officer says, I smell weed, and the next words out of the driver's mouth determine what happens next. So remember the three key lessons. The trap is the urge to explain. The decision point occurs the moment the officer says, I smell weed. And the exact phrase is, I don't wish to answer questions. Short, calm, professional. Because the smartest drivers aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who recognize the decision